What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And today we're going to be talking about Uncharted Drake's Fortune. And one thing I really want to get out of the way is I'm going to admit something here. Uncharted Drake's Fortune is, in fact, my number one favorite game in the series. Yeah, you heard me correctly. And there's a couple of reasons for this, other than the fact that I did enjoy 2, 3, and 4 in the series of Uncharted. But what makes the first one really stand out for me and why I think the first one is my favorite is indeed because it's the theatricality. All four Uncharted games have an amazing theatricality to it. There's definitely some movie themes in this game as well with the theatricality moment in this series or in this game. And that's why I love this game so much and the series as a whole. But too much further ado, what I love about Uncharted Drake's Fortune specifically is, in fact, that you play as Nathan Drake, voiced by Nolan North. He does a phenomenal job doing this role. I think that he was the best part or the best voice casting to ever voice a character in a series like this series, particularly. I think he did not just a magnificent job, he really stood out from any other type of 3D action adventure genre games like Uncharted. I think that he's definitely one of the best when it came to voicing Nathan Drake. I'm sure that they could have possibly found someone else to do it, but thoroughly and honestly, I really think that Nolan North just really fits that profile for Nathan Drake, and it's impressive and it's inspiring. It's also awesome because Nolan North voicing Nathan Drake in this game and in the series, however, he's never too serious, but he can be at times, but he's also very funny though too, and that's what I love about Nolan North specifically. I think that's where this game series really did a unanimous job of focusing on specific characters that are important into that type of genre. I think when it came to the newer Tomb Raider games, I don't know what her name was, but she did a fantastic job voicing Lara Croft. I think that was phenomenal as well. Phenomenous, listen to me. But overall, I think when it comes to Uncharted Drake's Fortune or the future games that we've already had in the series, I really think that Nolan North, he just did it so perfectly. He did it flawlessly. I love his characteristics. I love his sense of humor. I love his optimism. I love his enthusiasm. I like everything all about what Nathan Drake does. And Nolan North portrayed that to a freaking T in this series. However, I want to touch base why I think this game was like the most important one in the series, other than that, it is the first one that spun the series franchise to a whole. But it was the fact that Naughty Dog was actually able to utilize the hardware systems for the PlayStation 3 and bring that hardware system to fruition to make this game very much almost close lifelike human in this game. And I think they did a really good job with its physics, its combat systems, its gameplay systems, and its artistic design. It's one of the most impressed visual type of fidelity games I've ever seen on a PlayStation 3, or even having a remastered series for the PS4 as well. But however, what I'm trying to say is that this series or the first one really stand apart from themselves. They're a test of time. They're gems. They're old school. But that's where this game series as a whole really just branches out and shows you that this game is not just a game for the faint of heart when it comes to, some exploration involved, picking up certain types of trinkets and giving you that Indiana Jones vibe to it. And I think that's another thing what I love about this series as a whole because of that specific reason. And it's fascinating. And another thing what I've always found fascinating when it comes to multifaceted single player games, much like Uncharted or even the Legacy of Kain series, is its story. It's the writing. I think that Naughty Dog did an excellent job with the writing in this game. The director for, I believe it was 1 through 3, Amy Hennig, did a really good job of doing the directing for these games, and she did a magnificent job with the Legacy of Kain series as well, as far as I know. And it shows in this series, especially the first three, because in the fourth one, Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann directed the fourth one, which was Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. But however, I think that's where Uncharted Drake's Fortune really benchmarked not just, bringing iconic characters to life, but being able to find those actors who are able to put out their heart and soul to put their voice into these characters. And Richard McConaughey was able to do the voice of Victor Sullivan. He did an excellent job. Like I said about Nolan North, he did it phenomenally, and it was just, oh man, I can't bear to say that this franchise is one of the best I've ever played and seen in video game history, opposite that of Legacy of Kain series. But that's where I think that's where this game really, it benchmarked with storytelling. I think that's where the Legacy of Kain series really pulled it off very well as well, because there was a lot of involvement in that series. But I think that's where I think when it came to Uncharted Drake's Fortune, you got to understand this game really shows the fidelity of what they were able to do for this game to make it look realistic and feel realistic at the same time. And utilizing the specific types of shading, lighting infrastructure, the environment infrastructure, and its visual architectural design. And that's why I am very visual when it comes to most things. But when it comes to video gaming, I think that's where my visual auditory type of perception on games specifically is so good. I have never been so visual like this before, because I think I was always passionate, but I never was able to really show that side of myself until now. And that's where I'm saying it's really showing or sounding how I'm feeling about this game in general. And I think it's important to me. But overall, I really think that Uncharted Drake's Fortune, it's amazing. It's phenomenal, fantastic, and I love everything all about this game and the series itself. And that's why I think that I'm really hoping that they actually maybe possibly end up doing another one. I don't know that for sure, but it would be cool if they were to do that. But I do not want to see any reboots or remakes. I just want to be able to emphasize enough that I still have a blast playing these old school Uncharted games. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I love the fact that there's some really good characteristics going on, along with Nathan Drake, Victor Sullivan, and Elena Fisher, and Emily Rose. That's what her name is. That voices Elena Fisher. And like I said, I love the interactivity with these characters. And that's where I feel like when it comes to Uncharted Drake's Fortune, or any kind of single player game that had this type of aesthetic to it, it's extremely important to know that we need to have that type of progression. I think when it comes to character progression, much like Uncharted or any other single player game, it's deeply important that we have that progression, because if there's no progression involved, we don't know much about that character, right? And that's where I think that's where Nathan Drake, voiced by Nolan North, as I previously mentioned before, we don't know very much about him in the first one, but we get to know more about him in the third one. And that's where I'm saying the third one really set the bar of showing the backstory of Nathan Drake. It's awesome. I love that. I love it when a game really explores that background of a character. And that's why I'm saying that Uncharted Drake's Fortune did a really good job of not bringing that background to Nathan Drake right away. I think they did a great job of bringing that in Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, and implementing that background of Nathan Drake in the third one, it makes more sense to me because now I finally realized when I started playing Uncharted Drake's Fortune again, now I understand where his background is coming from. I'm kind of like bringing some of that background information of Nathan Drake from the third one into the first one a little bit and understanding him a little bit more as to why he does this stuff, why he wants to reclaim his sort of dignity and his heritage. And he actually thinks that he's a descendant to Sir Francis Drake. And that's why I'm saying that's why I love Uncharted Drake's Fortune is because of that specific reason. And that is so freaking cool. And I want to delve into a couple more things here before we end this video here soon. Is that I love the gunplay mechanics in this game. They're very fluid. It's not janky. It can be sometimes, but it's pretty flawless. I love the combat systems in this game. You can do so much different types of brawl out systems in this game as well. And you don't get sniper rifles in the first one, but I do know that you do get them in the second one. But that would have been cool if they were to implement that in the first one. But however, the gunplay in this game it's so good. It's fun. It's actually fun because, sometimes, like shooting enemies in a game, much like Uncharted or anything like that, can be repetitive, of course, because there's always going to be repetitiveness in games. But that's what I'm saying. I think that's where Uncharted Drake's Fortune just, oh my God, it's so rewarding to being able to do different types of combos, whether if it's shooting or brawl out knuckle fighting, or just go into the fray and just go like with your machine gun or your pistol, and I love that feeling. I think that's where Uncharted Drake's Fortune or the rest of the series really strikes that combat balance. And so switching between weapons is pretty simple. I love that. It's a really good mechanic that they implemented in the first one and along into the future titles that we've already previously had. And so all I'm saying is this. This game really benchmarked with its fidelity of visuals, its architectural design, as I previously stated. I love the audio. I love the sound. They did a really good job with the audio and sound mechanics in this game as well. And I'm hoping that we get to see more of this in future Naughty Dog titles. And I think that Naughty Dog did a fantastic job in this game, in my personal opinion. And I think they really are a really good company, I'm sure, to work with. I don't work with them, obviously, but I actually have a lot of respect towards Naughty Dog, even though that, they did, like, for what I understand, they did a lot of crunch time for Last of Us Part 2. But even so, it's like I still thoroughly enjoyed that game. Yeah, you heard me. But however, I still think that Uncharted Drake's Fortune really stands the test of time when it comes to everything as I previously mentioned. And so I really think that this game still holds up today in 2024. If you're playing this game on PlayStation 3 or on PS4 or via backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5. But however, like I said, this game still fucking holds up. It's amazing. Like I said, everything to me feels fluid. It's everything of what this game, what I really wanted it to be, and I really think that it expanded upon that. And so I really think that in turn, this game just shows how much passion that this company that made this game, and I really want to know more what they're going to be doing with The Last of Us Part 3 when that initially comes out at some point in the near distant future. So, but however, I really think they did a magnificent job on this game. I love everything all about it. I love its combat mechanics and everything else, and so I'm really looking forward to what other IPs that Naughty Dog has in store. But anyways, too much further ado. This is Jake from Citizen JV. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to reply back if and whenever possible. And you guys have a good rest of your week.